Because episode 2 is going to be episode 3.
Hey,
I'll just start this again. I'll roll around. I can do this thing with the chair. I can be like, you know. Welcome back, everyone. Episode 3 of TreeCoin podcast. Damian and I are in the studio again, talking with our awesome marketing coordinator. So, Damo, today we've had a couple of podcasts talking about the introduction of the company, the founder's origin story.
Yeah.
We've had a really good chat about one of the awesome projects we have over in Kenya, the Badilisha project. I wanted to ask you a question, because this is your department, this is your remit, carbon standards and the carbon landscape. TreeCoin comes into an industry that's obviously got a lot of other players. There's already established players. You know, we didn't invent the carbon market. That's already been well established. What do you think is the reason that there was a space for TreeCoin to enter into this market? Like, why was there a market gap? What was missing?
Yeah, well, when talking to the growers out there, so shout out to the farmers, the land care managers that are already leading the way with carbon landscapes. And in fact, carbon landscapes one of our is a business name, one of our early adopters. So here in Australia, and it's about boosting what they're already doing and funding them to do more, which is reforestation, it's mixed use landscapes, and the farmers of the world are very aware that in the climate situation there's a value on carbon going into the landscapes that they're managing. But when they go to register for the major national schemes, say in Australia, for example, you come up against this red tape that's often insurmountable and not just impractical, but unfeasible. So
unfeasible financially, or unfeasible in terms of audit skill levels, or what do you mean by that? So it's too much project management red tape that's needed. The caveats that get put on land titles are too restrictive. The legal covenants. Yeah, which are associated with, and maybe necessarily have their place for large-scale corporate farms that can engage with sort of middle-tier carbon project managers. But what we're doing is making it, putting it into the hands of the farmers themselves, which is definitely the way of the future. With tech where it's at, there shouldn't be a need for intermediate human auditors to be basically slowing things down and making it more costly and onerous for participation. So the feedback we've had from farmers is they're very welcoming of something that they can easily sign up to participate in at those smaller and medium scale farms. And so that's why there's an available gap for TreeCoin. It doesn't put a restrictive covenant sort of title legally on the property. It's got appropriate levels of declaration and agreements built in, which can be inherited when properties are sold, but it doesn't diminish the value of your land like a very restrictive long-term covenant would do. So that's huge. The ease of sign up is massively simpler than a multi-month or even over a year-long process to actually become a participant in sort of government-regulated carbon credit schemes. Because someone could just sign up in the space of listening to this podcast. Yeah, you can go to sign up to app.treecoin.global. Basically, map out your site, declare your ownership or management rights and your longevity commitment, and that'll automate the commencement of a carbon tokenization into a wallet or an audit. So it's a very user-friendly process. So that, in a nutshell, is why growers that we've got on board, like Carbon Landscapes in Victoria, Wangara Forest as well. Shout out to them. Already doing a great mixed landscape reforestation carbon project, but wouldn't participate in those more onerous schemes, but really happily participating in TreeCoin. And family, long-term family foresters, agroforestry, and farmers that are smart people, and like everybody, they're time poor. They're busy doing their
their farming and maybe other businesses as well. So they need something that's user-friendly, easy to use. So yeah, exciting to work and support those sorts of growers around the world. And we're getting sign-ups from Kenya, from like permaculture, reforestation and agroforestry teams that are not getting monetization up till now. And Africa really seems to be booming in this space. And then Asia as well. But the whole world really, owners of land know that they've got value in their trees and forests, and they should be getting more, and so we're here to achieve that.
So you lead into a really good second part of that question for me, which is obviously they've got this split between, say, first, second, third world growers, and those are very different in terms of regulations and token potential. You know, if we're talking about the pre-existing carbon credit schemes that are national based, that have different jurisdictions, they all have varying requirements and onerous, in and outs and different costs depending on what country they're in. And so TreeCoin comes in to be a global kind of standard of that, right? How do you think that will differentially affect the first world growers and the second and third world growers? Do you think that everyone across the board, regardless of where they are, will realise that this is a low barrier to entry option that they can sign up? Or do you think that it sort of more lends itself to first world, second world, third world growers?
I think second and third world probably have the biggest proportional impact on just enabling something to go into the palm of the hand of the on the ground grassroots, family farmer. Like we've got our Indonesian farmer sign-ups. We've got like 1 hectare each of mixed coffee and shading tree like plantation areas that have been able to sign up using their smartphones, which has been really exciting. So that's like unlocking previously sort of hard to get revenue, or kind of opening up a brand new market. For the first world, I think when we're into probably our next chapter of evolution, when we're establishing more accreditations with our carbon methodology partners, which we're really looking forward to this year, then I think we'll be able to operate side by side with some of those other bigger schemes and get an attractive pathway for those first world growers. And Australian farmers, like I was saying earlier, are already taking it up. So it's not just about which country, it's about what scale. So I think at the giga scales of private commercial farms, it's probably less of a disruption. But for those medium to small scale family level farms, it's a big disruption. So, whatever country you're in.
And I'm thinking through, like you just mentioned before, getting the Indonesian coffee farmers where they've got 1 hectare sites. I can imagine that if you've got revergent plantations that are like 5,000, 10,000 hectares, you've probably got a business operation that they've got the revenue to be able to pay for the auditing and these kind of onerous entries into these things. But if you go down to a 1 hectare or a 2 hectare site, there's no way that, even in the current schemes, there's no way that the carbon revenue from that 1 or 2 hectares, even over like 20, 50, 100 years, would ever be able to bring in enough dollars to cover the cost of the auditing and the ongoing. So it sounds like the current schemes almost accidentally have a minimum land size and operation, and something that TreeCoin's wanting to do is tap into those smaller farms that are growing trees and planting trees and maintaining trees and keeping us all alive with oxygen. And so it's them that are kind of missing from the current market pool. And what you're saying, if I got it right, is that's not just second and third world exclusive. Like even here in Australia, where we've got the headquarters based, a hectare down the road is going to run into the same problems that given current carbon prices, they're not, 1 hectare is not going to be able to fund through the carbon sales the cost of that. So if they can get TreeCoin, there's no cost to the grower to sign up to TreeCoin.
That's right, yeah. So that's what's happening already. Like in Australia, we've got growers at the sort of 50 hectare scale as well that are really happy to come on board. So yeah, it's exciting to interface with those growers, get their feedback as we mature the platform as to what they're looking for in terms of user features, and get the sales pipeline going so that they can showcase their individual projects. So where they've, growers are rightly proud of their forest features. They might have conservation added value adjacent or as part of their overall project that they can showcase. And so our buyers, or the buyers using our platform, we should say, because TreeCoin's a platform, it's a place for growers, buyers, and other related parties to meet and interact. They can see the value of the different projects, which are different sizes, different countries, different sort of flavors. So there's quite a nice sort of marketplace showroom where the growers can present what they're doing and get direct support through sales of their tokens.
So is that something, and maybe this will be the last question for this particular bit for you, is that an additional thing that you think is missing from the current offerings in the market, where you've got this real direct peer-to-peer relationship between buyers and growers, not even through an intermediary or through a third party, where they could go on and see media and videos and photos directly, and if they wanted they could reach out and potentially email or contact, a buyer in America could contact directly a grower in Africa, and they could develop a relationship and build that kind of rapport. Do you think that that's currently serviced in the market? I think
it's under-serviced. Like a lot of the schemes have, and the platforms to purchase carbon tokens, carbon certificates are third-party sort of curated places where it's not directly populated by the growers themselves. So I think this is a good innovation that we're bringing, where it's that end-to-end system, TreeCoin, but it's also decentralized. So that's, in a nutshell, I think what makes it exciting.
Awesome.
For everybody.
Well, I'm glad that I'm on board.
Yeah, cool. Well, I look forward to checking out in the next episodes ahead and bringing some guests to the podcast.
Yes, we've got a good lineup, so do keep posted for episode 4. Thanks.
And send in your requests and suggestions for topics, and we look forward to filtering through and feeding back on what we get requests for from the audience.
Yeah. I think our marketing coordinator and team are all over that.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Demian. See you guys.